Okay, our first poll question was, when was your due date?
And the answers we had for that was within days, which was 4, within 1 week to a few weeks, which was 7, on time, which there was 2, and scheduled was 1. And then I also put another, like an other, and there was emergency deliveries for both, and one within days, and the second one was scheduled.
Okay.
So just like when we were saying about yours, it's the same that yours were a week overdue, right? So I think
Yeah.
that was that was the majority of most people, was within that week. So it's kind of cool how they have that pretty dialed in, and then those that were in days, like that's pretty friggin' accurate.
Right? I would like to like meet my due date or at least go before. I don't think I want to wait to be a week overdue again.
That's fair. I think every single day feels like an entire week the day after your due date. It sounds like
Yeah,
from what I hear.
42 weeks is a long ass time. So like add like one more to that is like Jesus, get it out. Like stop.
Yeah, I'm done with this. I'm over it. And yeah, I've seen that a few times. And even though like obviously it's a hypothetical and they're doing the best to guess that date, you're still like, no, it's science, and now it's 2 days, which feels like 2 months. So let's get going.
Yes, yes, every second counts. I'm not joking. Our second question, did you have a birth plan?
39% said yes, and 61% said no.
Wow, that I kind of like that a little bit, and like just because like I was so dead set, and then because I went into the hospital to get medically induced, I brought my entire hospital bag, but they sent me home, so I ended up changing into what I had in my bag. So when I went to the hospital for real time, I had no idea that I didn't have my any
Extra.
change of pants or underwear. So and when my water broke at 2 in the fucking morning, guys, it was straight up like that's all I had. So my partner at the time, Tyler, uh he let me like take his like he brought pajama pants, so I wore those home, and I was a hot fucking mess. Like, uh,
I think I'd be like you. I think I'd have like obviously I would have to from just like knowing everyone and knowing myself know that things could go wrong, but I think I'd have to be like you and have like at least some idea of a plan so that I wasn't anxious about it as much, even if
yes,
it doesn't go through, just the thought and the in my mind it's like a safety thing, like it's okay, I have a plan, no stress, things will go as planned even though I know they won't. It's just like something I have to continually tell myself, so I think I would be the same way. I'd have to have like, and especially now being like in my 30s, if it ever does happen in that sense, even if we do, like, let's say adopt, I think it would be the same thing. You still kind of have to have, like, I would have to have a plan so that, like, when it happens or they arrive, then I'm as prepared as possible.
oh yeah, fuck yeah, like it's all the same to me, really. Like bringing a child home at any time was like intense. So yeah, I would say for sure that would be like, you know, I think my parents said they had to do like a checklist of things. So like that's a thing that they're thinking of, and that makes me happy because
That
parents
is
who are
cool.
adopting is it's very important that they're prepared too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Um, okay, yeah, number three. If anyone said yes, did it go as planned?
And so we have a 50-50 draw here. So
Ooh,
50% said yes and 50% said no. So think that's pretty, we don't usually have a right down the middle one. So I thought that was kind of
no.
interesting. So
I like hearing these women, these like the YOLOs, like no birth plan. Like I like that, like a little bit.
yeah,
Like
well, totally.
just
I think that he could be in a sense maybe a little bit more like, I think that's what having them a little bit younger, you kind of have less friends maybe that have gone through it. I am 34 now. I have so many friends that have had babies and multiple ones, and they don't think about that I still may have to go through it for the first time, and then they say things that are terrifying, and then it makes me
oh
want to do it. Just kidding, but at least when you're younger, at least like you
no,
don't
I get it.
necessarily hear it as much, right? So sometimes ignorance really is bliss, and just like you can't go back once it happens. You're just like, okay, I got to deal with it. It
Oh
is
my
what it is.
gosh. Oh, oh yeah. No, for sure. I didn't, that makes me think about it in a different way because you don't, like when I was having kids, nobody was really having kids. But now that I've had a kid, a lot of my friends have had kids. So
And now
Um,
you know more of the truth. So imagine not knowing the truth that you know, and then all your friends telling you all these things, and you're already terrified from like years of anxiety of it and all
yeah.
that. Right? Yeah. So it's like, oh, I was like, yeah, let's like just tell me to put my earmuffs. Like, I want to listen and I want to be your friend, but this is just like one area that I'm just like, maybe talk to other moms about this one.
No, for sure. Sorry, I was
I'm
just
very proud.
dying.
I'm proud I'm listening today.
Oh, no, and it, I mean, it's, yeah, like however you do it, like when the time comes, I'm just excited for whatever, like whatever happens for you guys. So
Yeah, do.
I'm excited. Like it's kind of neat when you have friends like now, even now, like I have friends where I'm like, oh, like I can't wait for them to have a baby or whatever their plan is with the next steps in their relationship. It's just like, you get those friends and you're like, that's cool. I don't know. I'm excited for you. I like you guys as a couple, and I think that you would be really awesome and unique parents. I think that
Yeah.
it would be a great thing to do.
And it might be a baby and it might be a dog. We just don't know.
Yeah, and fuck, like I'm here for all of it.
Right? I don't have to worry
Where
about at
did I
least having
go?
like the dealing with the next question. But if
Oh,
it's
oh,
about,
okay. Yeah. Okay. So, next question. Did you have cesarean or vaginal birth?
so it was 16% C-section and 84% for that vag birth. So
Hmm.
which I think is like a common theme throughout time. I think most people have, for the most part, more people that I know have had a natural one. That being said, more people that I know that go to have the second have a C-section. So I don't know if more people had them that, like you said, you should have probably had a C-section, where my mom probably should have had one her first time.
Yeah. And so I'm like, now I've gone through it one way. I'm prepared, but like having a C-section would be a totally different way to do it. And honestly, if I'm going to be totally honest, when I was pregnant the first time, I was actually really terrified of having a C-section because of the idea of them cutting you open and pulling your baby out from like that. Like, I don't know, the idea of it really terrified me. So I like, my heart is out there for women that, that want to have a vaginal birth, and then, they it flips second, something's going wrong and they have to do an emergency one. And like, that was a fear of mine, I remember. So it would
Yep.
be different for me if I had, if I get pregnant again and I have to have a C-section. Like I'm gonna be neurotic about it. Like I'm gonna need to know everything.
Yeah, of course. But I think that's too, like
Uh,
for at that time too, like you said, you didn't have very many people going through it, and if the ones that you did know at the time were more the not natural, but just had the more through the vag part, and seeing where I'm totally opposite, where I'm more like, if you just refuse to push, do you get to have a C-section? Like,
yeah, no,
I
fair.
think so. After what listening to my mom and everything that everyone's told me over the years, I'm just like, hey, yeah, I that's
That's
terrifying.
not something I want to do.
Yeah, so I can see both ends of it. So for it'll be interesting no matter how it boils down to, and if we end up adopting, then it won't even be a factoid, but it's just also interesting to learn the differences of people's how they went through their labor and delivery. So it's still super interesting process to me.
Yeah, it's weird because like, no, when I'm thinking about it, like I did have a couple friends who had to have emergency C-sections. So there was it was a thing, and yeah, I remember being kind of scared because like seeing the look in their face when they were talking about when, being at the hospital and how it all went down. I was just like, that would be like a whole other thing in itself. I feel like, it's you're
Totally.
going through a whole other part of pregnancy, and it's like all of it is just it's beautiful, but it's intense is
Yeah.
a really good way to put it. So yeah.
There's lots of
uh,
healing.
Medicated or unmedicated was our next question.
So 61% was medicated and 39% was unmedicated.
What do you think about
So
that? Like, how do you feel?
I think that I would be on the same side as medicated for me, because like that's something that I've been terrified of, and if that's something that could relieve some stress for sure. And I think those that do without are fucking badasses for sure.
Yeah.
But I equally understand if it's something like this is something I've worked myself up for a long time. So I think just for everyone involved, and my own sanity and the baby's health. I think if that was to go through that, I think it would be just smarter to have that if it's available. I know it's not always
Yeah.
available, but if possible, I would be as well.
Yeah. It's interesting, like just
Excuse me.
going off my own and weird, like my own experience and just the like honest to God, like right now, I swear to God, I can feel it in my back, and I'm just like, I would like to probably, like, I still probably, guys, I'm gonna use medication, like, even if I do like a doula and that kind of thing. Um, but I want to look at like different options because, like, I don't know,
Sure.
I think like I've seen like laughing gas, like, there's things that are like a little less uh
Intense.
inebriating. Yeah.
Yep, yep. And that I think I like that too. Like I don't know for sure. Obviously, I would look at all the options. But yeah, just and for me too, like with my car accidents have all been really bad back injuries. So those are things I worry about too, right? So I
Yeah,
like
totally.
to looking at different alternatives of just like relieving some of that stress and anxiety. But like you said, where it's like you weren't sitting there playing with Dracula and laughing in the not that that's not funny, and I'm glad that Cash came out as Cash and not Count Dracula, but
Oh
uh,
my God.
and it'd be kind of funny. You should dress him up as that one Halloween just for funny.
I just laughed. No, that was one thing that I actually really remember because it was so fucking funny. Like everybody was laughing because I was laughing so hard about this stupid Dracula stuff, like figurine thing, and I'm just like that was a good time. That was fine. But then it was like the pain got so much and it was like I don't know. I was yeah, I just and also I was scared. So now like, it's just you don't know what the weirdest thing I have to say is like you just don't know how it's going to feel when that starts happening. So you literally
Yeah,
have to go through it so that you just, now you got your bearings about it and it's like okay, like all right, I
you
don't
didn't
have to
die.
be as scared next time. Like my body was made to do this. So now like it's like I'm coming into my own that way and I'm getting less afraid. So it's yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know, it's fucked up.
no, I totally get it. And then and then sure enough, anxiety will tell you other things. But at least you know that you
I'm gonna
survived.
die.
Yeah, you didn't die through it. You survived through it, and you knew the like things that are helpful and the things that weren't helpful. So you're better equipped if you do it again. And then you will have and now I think a lot too, there's a lot more options now for, home versus hospital and
Mm-mm. Mm-hmm.
natural to more holistic. Like there's a lot more options now than say, even 5 years ago when you had cash to 10 years ago to, especially 30 years ago when, plus when we were born. So I think it's really awesome that things are changing so it can suit everyone's specific needs and so that moms are as environmentally safe, especially now with like COVID, especially. I think if moms especially want to do that at home to be closer to more comforts, definitely now too, more than ever, because I think then you get to at least have where people surrounding you and your spouses, where now, it's a little bit harder to be in the hospital for that.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the rules are, but I imagine it'd be
Oh,
easier
have
at
you
home.
heard? Have you heard? Do you have any friends who had any babies during the pandemic?
I do. Yeah, I did. She had hers at home. Um,
Okay.
she had, I think, her doula and maybe a nurse and then her spouse, but their families aren't from here, so I'm not sure if that's why she only had, a couple people, like just her
Okay.
spouse and the nurses, or if that was a COVID thing. But just because it's like a hospital regulation and surgeries, I think I
Mm-hmm.
would imagine it'd be a little less. So that would be a huge appeal I think to me in that sense would for doing it at home and having that's I don't know.
I have two friends that had theirs in during the pandemic, and
Oh,
like,
sorry. Yeah, I did have one as well in Grand Prairie. She did have her baby too during the
and
pandemic.
did she have them in the hospital? Like,
Yeah, she
that's
had her.
kind of what I'm, because
Yeah,
isn't
she.
it? I find it nuts. Like when I had cash, I was able to have Tyler and my mom in the delivery room. I might have been able to have one more. Like if I wanted, if I really wanted, like I could have had Tyler's mom in there too. I'm pretty sure. But even still to have two people in there when, over the pandemic we've had moms who went in and only had their partners, and so
Yep.
I can't even imagine like what if you had your birth plan and like you wanted your mom and your partner in there, or your partner's mom and you in there, whatever the situation, and like you're limited to one person. No one can come visit you. um like nothing. Like I it's just like, what a strange, I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could be in the hospital and have a baby and not have be able to, I don't know. I think I'd be okay with Ryan, but like it would just be kind of a weird thing.
Yeah, I think it's nice to have just like your team, right? Like your mom is good and your spouse is and great, but together it's like one on each side. You just feel super strong, I would think, right? So I feel like I think that's where I would say that's where the leaning towards the at home thing, if this continues on, I
Yeah.
fucking hope not. But if for some
Oh,
odd reason this happened through that, that would be a huge consideration for that, for me personally.
me too, 100%. And it, it brings us right into our next question. We were wondering, um, if you had your baby at home or in a hospital.
So 11% said home and 89% said hospital. So I think, I would be interested to ask that question like through a couple years past the pandemic, like one through this
Mhm.
podcast. I know that sounds, but it'd be interesting because I wonder if that would shift more to being more at home through all that, right?
Yeah, me too. That's, I would like to revisit that as well, because I don't know. I don't know. I, so weirdly, I really just want to have one at home.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just in the, in like in the water. So I just find it, I find it would be relaxing if, and uh, just, what's the point of wearing a gown and whatever, like a pad with whatever in it, or like these weird mesh underwear with the pad in it, if you're fucking gonna just like, I'm sorry, but like gush fluids and like bleed all over the place. Like I'd
Yeah,
rather just be no clothes in the fucking water, just let get it out, do the thing, and like I don't know, from whatever reason, I feel like that just seems more natural, and that's
absolutely.
that's that's the vibe. It's, I don't know. I get
And
called a hippie. Like I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I don't know. I just want to be one with my body and my baby when it comes out. So that's my way of doing it. That's what I
well,
think.
yeah. And I think that's yeah, it's very in vibe and in tune with who you are. And I think that's more important of what's going to make you feel the most comfortable. My first one, no, I want to be surrounded with the fact that I could just be given anything at any given time by anyone because I have no idea
Yep.
what's going to go on, and I need to be close to the maybe the psych ward or something. It's just
Fair,
facts.
fair. No, I
I support
fucking,
anybody doing any of it because if I was ever to do it or do it a second round, and I could see it the first time and be like, okay, yeah, I didn't die, then yeah, totally, I love that.
I want to know the answer to the next one we
Oh,
have.
there's so many.
How long were you in labor? I'm curious what people's averages were.
So there's 16 answers. So I'll just go through them here. So we have 7 hours, three labors, all different. Last one was really fast.
Hmm.
16 hours first time in C-section for the last one. 16 hours with first 12 hours. Oh, I must have read that. 16 hours with first, 12 hours with second. Okay. 3 hours with daughter, 4 hours with son, 24 hours, 5 hours, 25 hours, 24 hours, 18 hours and 1.5 hours of pushing, 24 hours plus, 8 hours, 8 hours, then 2 hours, six. First one was 3 goddamn days. The second,
Wow.
not at all, was a planned C section, 5 hours and 36. So it seems like it's like 3 to 6 hours, like, like, so like really, really fast, or maybe it probably doesn't seem fast. And then like, like 16, like, about 16 to 18. And then you've got like the fucking 24-hour plus like day folk. Like there's kind of like three different categories there,
Wow. I
right?
just am like cringing for our mom out there who was 3.5 fucking days, man. Like you're a trooper.
I'm pretty sure my
Holy.
mom was 36 with me too, and that's why I tell her I love
Oh.
her so much. And she wasn't, my biological dad wasn't interested in letting her have any medication at the time, especially then it was a lot less like known. So like I can understand where that, in that sense, but also like that's a long time for someone to be going through that. And I'm pretty sure I was overdue. I think I was 4 days late. Um, and then she
Hmm.
was in like, yeah, for a while. So I've always just like another reason why I'm like, what? This is terrifying. And then you read
No
some hope that
shit.
there, okay, there's sometimes it could be 3 to 4 hours to 6 hours. Okay, cool. Okay, well that's good. That makes me feel a little bit better, guys. Thank you.
No, legit. I knew a girl who like walked in And yeah, 3 hours max, and walked in and almost was having the baby. Like, I'm like, so that those were like the first few instances with people that I had known that were close to my age having babies. So I was like, when it 24 hours or whatever more passed, it was just like I was in so much physical pain that I was terrified. And because I was terrified, I was physically stopping myself from allowing my cervix to open to allow him to come out, because I was like, the pain of the back labor that I was having was next fucking level. So yeah, and so I was super out of it, and I'm just like, there's and I feel like there's maybe not much you can do, but I honestly, at the same time, I'm like, I feel like they could have, like, like, if I had like a doula or something, they could have massaged or something, like, to help put the baby in the right position. Like, I feel like there's natural things you can do to help that along, and I don't
Like
want to
breath.
be as afraid this time. Like, it was really terrifying. I don't know. I was so not ready to go through that, and fuck, like,
Well,
I
they
just
could probably help put you in a better space. They help you probably breathe better. They probably help you
mentally,
like,
like, yeah, I don't
yeah,
know. It's just
connect
not
and
so
become more present.
clinical.
Yeah, no, for sure. And just like unknown, right? So that's very fair.
Yeah. So that was quite a selection of like answers for how three.
Oh,
I'm still trying to come back from the 3 days one. Like, really trying to come back from that.
that's stuck there.
Oh, could you? Oh my! I just, yeah, it's like, I'm just, yeah, that's intense. Um, we have our next one, which is, how was your overall experience?
Okay, so we had a decent amount. We had so much engagement on this one, guys. So thank you guys for doing this because it helps so many people see other people's experiences. So we have a bunch of answers. So starting with, it was horrible. I was induced at 9 in the morning. At 9 p.m. labor hit and it came so fast and intense. Both were special circumstance and terrifying both times.
Hmm.
All the feelings a person could feel at once: exciting,
Mhm.
terrifying, humble, painful, magical. First one was horrid. Second one was a dream. Hope for a second. Painful as F. Pushing was super quick and easy though. Oh, here's a good one. Perfect. Pretty smooth. Water got this cut off. Pretty smooth. Water broke. Got pitocin. I think you talked about this. To induce contractions lasted 15 hours before got epidural. I can't say words. We got intense as fuck. Who is that? It was a good experience. That's good. Yay. Decent. Oh, good. First was honestly the worst emergency C-section, and he had stopped breathing. Oh, that's scary.
Oh,
For
that is
popping
scary.
for popping a baby through your vagina, it was one of the best days of my life. So cliche. That's funny.
I
Uh,
like that.
right. Traumatic, then beautiful now. That was a good answer too. So yeah,
Um,
yeah, fair.
okay, I think I have no idea if I'm like, because I'm drawing a blank, but I pushed, like, I was in labor, but when the time came to actually have them, it was like go time. I swear to God, Debbie, like my mom, looked me in the eyes and was like, gave me like a nod, and then was at my legs, holding one of my legs, and I pushed for like, I think, an hour, and he was out.
That's awesome. She's always there for you. I remember you saying that she like it was one time you're having anxiety like on the floor fighting and she just like looked at you and she's like, you got this. And it's like those
You
key
have to
moments
breathe.
where Debbie, yes, Debbie steps in and gives you the eye and you know.
That magic eye, like, oh, I hope that like, it's weird to say it, but it's like, I hope I never have to use it, but if I do, like, I hope that I get to give Cash that assurance as well, that you know
Oh
everything's
yeah,
gonna be okay.
totally.
Oh, frick. Okay. Ooh, this one. How big was your baby or babies? Because some people have more than one.
Totally. Okay, so 21 inches long, 6 pounds, 11 ounces. So tiny. Oh, just a little baby. Long little baby.
Long.
First was 3 pounds, 4 ounces, and second was 5 pounds. Oh, really tiny. We've got 6 pounds, 2 ounces, 19 inches long, 7 pounds, 15 ounces, 21 inches long, and both came early. Long babies. Or is that normal? Is that like a normal length?
No, I feel Cash was 22 inches. Like, that's pretty. pretty
They're all
long for.
all tall. And if I know them now, especially these ones, I'm pretty sure they're tall teenagers now too. So um, then we have one is 5 pounds 13 ounces and 7 pounds 9 ounces. So yeah, when you're saying you're 10 pounds, yeah, I'm feeling you there. Okay. 7 pounds 5 ounces, 23 inches long. 6 pounds 9 ounces. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, here we go. 10 pounds 6 ounces, 22 inches long. Ooh.
That was cash, man.
That was cash. 77 pounds. That was a lie. That's a fucking dirty lie. 7.7 pounds. I missed the period there. And then we got 7.11, 8.9, and 8.12 pounds. 9, 9.6, and 7.10. Okay, so you're very fair to be concerned about cash at 10. 7 pounds 3 ounces and 7 pounds 2 ounces, then 7 pounds 10 ounces. So that seems to be quite the range there. Like 6 to 9 seems to be like the more like average
Yeah, and
size.
like nine's pretty big. Like even for like I do know a girl who's got a smaller frame, and she had I think she had one or two 9 pound babies, and like I was just like I'm blown away by her because like she produced these large babies, but you just would you'd never tell, and it's just like it's just so majestic. I find like I don't know. It's
What
women's
sorcery is this?
bodies are sorceries. Yes, fuck. Like it just blows my mind. And then I don't know. It yeah. Fuck. I don't. I would like to have like seven, or but with all that being said, Cash was the happiest baby. Like
Aw.
all he did literally was just sleep, eat, and poop.
Just a good
That's
dude.
all he did. He did not make a fuss. Like he wasn't colicky or anything like that. And like, I don't know. Like a lot of people like say like bigger, like, chubby babies are generally happier. They're just they're content.
Mhm.
And I don't know if it has to do with like the development or overdevelopment, if you want to call it that. Because like 10 pounds is fucking excessive.
Yeah, nobody needs that.
It's like just to know.
We're over it.
Ugh, we're over it. No, I'd like to have even 6 or 7. Like they're not.
Yeah,
That's not too bad. Like that
that's
is not
asking.
too
Reasonable.
bad. Yeah. We have okay. So then this next one was what was the best part of childbirth?
So we have finding out the sex at the end and those first snuggles,
Oh,
get, getting to hold the baby after it all, that moment that you hear them, the midwife and doula support, holding my son, getting my baby in the end, immediately thought I would definitely do it all over again. Hearing him cry, the epidural and seeing baby for the first time, hanging out in labor with hubby, great bonding time, meeting babe for the first time when they put them on your chest, realizing that all the pain was worth it as soon as you got to hold your little one in your arms, seeing how daddy responded to everything,
Hmm,
and accomplishments of getting the baby out. Aww.
I like
And
that.
like a feel good little part there because as much as like every experience has good and bad, like that's what we want to show. There's good and bad to both,
I like that a lot.
right?
Okay, so we'll pull the band-aid off with the next one when we ask what was the worst part of your childbirth experience.
The happiness ends now. The pain after, I felt like I was hit by a bus for a week after. Fair. I had 30 med students in my delivery room first time just looking at
What
me
the
spread
fuck?
eagle. Yeah, that would be a hard part for me too. The pain and troubles through the pushing. Unsupportive partner, that's hard. I can imagine that. The pain, fair. Pushing a baby from my vagina, the ring of fire is a real thing. This is what terrifies me. The burning sensation right as he was crowning. See, there, that's two of you. Two of you. And no, that's okay. And then it wasn't bad for me. So that gives me some light. Good question. So that wasn't an answer. Unknown. Okay, these are making me feel better. Not believing in myself that I would do it and listening to the doctors, not my body. The pain, the blood, and waiting. All fair and expected answers.
Yeah.
We should have done it the other way. We should have done worst and then best. So let's go back to best. So we remember holding the baby for the first time, crying,
Yes.
love. Oh, just kidding.
Snuggles and kisses and oh,
Snuggles.
the way they smell though, like honestly, I'm just gonna throw this out there. Like and
Yes.
it's like when you were holding them and you're just like they just like oh they smell like just I can't even explain it. It's like nothing you've ever smelled, but it smells so good because it's yours. It's such a weird thing.
That's fresh.
It's
Fresh
so
life.
primal.
Yeah, such fresh life.
Yeah, and it's so precious. Like it's just fucked. I remember being so scared. Like even when we were gonna like bath him for the first time, I was like, "Fuck, what if I drown him?" Like I was so scared.
Yeah, oh
But
yeah, and I like those reels where it's like the first one and you're like delicate and you like hold everything really carefully, and then the second one you just whip them around after you realize they're not delicate. And I think that's totally fair with anybody. Even when you like hold a baby for the first time, you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna drop it, and
yeah,
then you
yeah.
realize like no, and if you did, it wouldn't die, but you just assume it's made of
Oh,
glass.
oh my god, yeah. But it is scary. Like there are like scary things out there. Like that. This is not funny. Like I just have to make it
No,
sound. I was
well,
kind
yeah,
of laughing, but like there are like scary things. Like their skulls are very like delicate. So
oh,
like
for
dropping
sure,
them on the tops of their head is like bad. So
totally. But like
but like
from
no
like
matter
there
at
to your
what
lap,
time they yeah, but no
yeah,
matter how they fall, you're always like you always assume that that's gonna happen. You're like
yeah,
they're gonna land on their head and it's gonna get all fucked up, and you're like ah
totally. Yeah,
yeah
or yeah,
every
yeah.
time.
Watch that little spot and then you're good. Just don't push on spots on the head and you're good.
Everything's fine. Just leave. Yep,
Don't
leave
press
that
the
soft
destroy
spot alone.
button.
Yep, do not just leave it. It's not an easy button or
No.
that just leave it.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you should. The rest you should be pretty okay. They're not made of glass. I mean, be careful. Don't drop them on their heads, but don't be afraid of them either.
No, Cash was such a tubby little like butterball at first. Like he was.
So
It
was
was.
I. So I probably just
Oh,
rolled. If you drop me, I just roll down the hill.
oh my god, I love chubby babies.
Michelin man.
Exactly. And then yeah, we come to our final, which we are asking if anyone had any advice.
So we got do what you feel is best for your child and try to take it all in because it goes by so fast. Very good. No one knows what they are doing when they have a baby for the first time, so don't be so hard on yourself. Very good point. Listen to your body. Yes, we preach this. Enjoy everything, soak it in. They're only small for so long, and the sleepless nights will be over before you know it. Don't stop exercising, even if you're not going to keep your diet in check. Have someone with you through all the things, classes and appointments if available. Very true. Support is huge. Take classes, learn a lot, and don't be afraid of the stuff that is more in depth. This is also important. Don't be afraid to learn about stuff because more education is more sets you up for better success. Oh, I like this one. All about mindset. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Mm.
Take all the photos in the hospital. You can always delete ugly ones, but you can never take more. Yes, I advocate this all the time. Take the pictures. You don't need to share them to anybody. You can keep them in a folder to yourself, but you'll go back one day and those will be important. Don't feel bad for what you do that works for you and the baby. Oh, sorry, hold on. I figured out. Okay. Do what's best for you and your baby. You can listen to what others say worked for them, but no two people are alike and it may not work for you. Don't let others make you feel bad for what you do that works for you and your baby. Yes. Life doesn't always go as planned. Sometimes you'll be mad or sad or frustrated, and that's completely normal. Yes. And you'll want to return to center in the first 48 hours. That's normal.
Yep. Oh,
Oh, I
that's
love
funny.
that. That's such great advice, guys. And we've heard that so much in here that in everyone's journey with everything that they're going through is listen to your body. Don't always take what other people say ever. And even medical professionals, if you're really not sure it doesn't feel right to you, talk to other people, talk to your support groups, talk to your community, see what other people are feeling. Just having one conversation can spark so much knowledge, and you could help someone else and learn a lot for yourself as well. We've learned this time and time again through the podcast, and I think that's such a beautiful universal connection when you get to meet people and they just have one comment that could potentially change your whole life or journey on a certain aspect.
Yeah, totally. I was
So
just
yeah.
chugging water. Sorry.
No, it's so hard when you do these all day and you're talking all day and you're smoking weed all day. Like, okay, how much pasties can I handle in a day? Well, you
Right?
guys, I think that wraps it up for our childbirth episode. I freaking learned so much. I loved how much engagement we had on this poll. So many of you answered, and I appreciate that. So we both appreciate that so much because, you know, we just love learning, and we love learning everyone's experiences because we just grow more. And so just thank you guys again for always listening and giving us feedback on your experiences so we can share that with everyone else.
Yeah, it's super cool. I'm really into this whole thing. I'm having a great time, and I enjoy every time we get together, and I just love this.
Yeah, and it's like fun to like kind of watch progressively how we go through life. Like we just kind of got to see like, oh, the birth control over to like the pregnancy, and then with my experiences still get to be a part of this month, and then get to see your pregnancy up to your labor and to delivery. And then when we have the month where we discuss about relationships, like early parenting, will dealing with newborns will be like the next step that we get to hear with that story. So it's like always like, okay, here's this little chapter and like to be continued
Yep.
until we get to that next part. And I love that. So next month, you guys, we're going to jump into the world of fitness and discuss our experiences in that world and have a bunch of guests talk about their experiences in that world as well, because it does affect so many people. And we also want to be talking about things that to help you guys through all of this, to get active and to make sure we're taking care of ourselves physically during, especially right now. So we're excited to kind of jump into some funner, I don't know, not funner, I don't want to say funner, but
Lighter?
lighter, and just kind of like something that another topic that people aren't talking about always, and but that very much is a part of their daily lives, and a form of its own addiction, and it's wild behind the scenes reality, that the highlight reels are real in the fitness industry, and we're going to
Hmm.
talk about some stuff of the reality behind the scenes as well, to have hopefully reach other people in that aspect. So super excited for next month. But this was a wild month, and I love the connections that we made and the stories that we're able to share and the women that we were able to highlight. And I'm just, thanks Kayla for being a part of this with me and always sharing so much with me and like having a space for me to talk. And on this journey we're ending, this week we'll be ending our 2 months, heading into our third. And I just thank you and love you and can't wait to carry on.
Me too, buddy. Me too. I'm so excited.
Next and next. So thank you guys for stopping by. As always, following us on all our social platforms, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. If you can, try to give us a review. That helps us get on more people's pages. And always DM us if you have any questions, you want to be a part of our show. We're always here. But until next time, guys, bye.
Bye.
Thank you guys so much for stopping by today. We appreciate you so much. If you like this episode and you want to hear more or be updated with episode drops, please make sure to send us some love on our Instagram page, the Be Real Babe Podcast. Give us a follow and stay tuned for more realness coming to you next week. Until next time, babes.